in managing a project dependent on specialized equipment provided by an external vendor. It has come to light through a recent quality assurance test that a subset of its equipments failed to meet critical safety compliance requirements. Okay. These requirements were meticulously documented and clearly articulated in the contract agreement with the vendor, emphasizing their importance to project safety and success. Faced with this situation, what should be the project manager's primary action? Okay, so you have a vendor not adhering to the compliances which are well documented in the contract, and you have a deliverable which is not meeting it. What should you do as a project manager? That's the situation we are starting with. Yeah. Option A, return the non-compliant equipment to the vendor, insisting on provision of replacement that fully comply with the documented safety standards. So you can say reject it because it is not meeting the specification standard, and we do replacement or as per the contract. Yeah, it would have been better if this option says as per the contract you take care of it. But it's a convenient option because I need to definitely flag the non-compliance. I can go a little soft. I can say I will understand the more about the contract and then act on it. But looking at as of now, it's a convenient option I am keeping. I can say, okay, I can choose this. Let's see option B. Notify the procurement department of the non-compliance issue, empowering them to engage and potentially renegotiate terms with the vendor. So it is little bit direct escalation. The question is not indicating that I need to transfer this to someone. Yeah, it is beyond my level. There is a highly likelihood the procurement people will be involved with you. Yeah, whenever you are working in the procurement space. But if I have identified a deliverable not meeting a particular agreement which we had, do I need to go to procurement first? Or I can directly tell my guy, you have given something, it is not meeting. I want to report this as an issue, and you probably need to take care of it as per the standards. Now, if there is a dispute, I will go into the procurement people. If the question indicates that this is something beyond your level, then probably I will go to a procurement people. But with the limited information, I will say, okay, I probably reject the idea, reject the deliverable and ask for some corrective and preventive action rather than I go to my procurement people and says, please take care of it. Yeah, and renegotiate with this vendor, fix this guy. Yeah. If there's a problem in the contract, if the question indicates the contract is not clear about it, then probably I need to work with my procurement people. Yeah, but the question clearly indicates contract was well defined. So I can say B is not needed as of now. Option C, initiate a discussion with the vendor to pinpoint the reason behind the non-compliance and collaborate on developing a comprehensive corrective action plan. This looks good. And I suspect many of you will think this is the right option. Yeah. So let's compare the option A and option C. Option C is saying, oh, you did a problem. Let's talk about it and see how can we solve it. But at the same time, you have a clear-cut instruction not to do it. Yeah. So you are not doing it, something which you have agreed upon. And I keep focusing on, let's talk about what is creating problem for you. So say, I can do it. But first, I need to report that you are not meeting your contractual obligations. That is my first job. That is what the PMI expects from you. Because it clearly tells that you should not let your contractual rights just get diluted. You want to make sure that you are adhering to what is agreed in the contract when you are working with the vendor. Yes, it will be better idea to work on and figure out what to do, but I need to because the question is clearly indicating the contract was well defined. Yeah. So in A and C, I know it's a difficult choice, but I wanted to pinpoint the mindset. When we have a clear contractual right, I want to exploit that rather than I will say, okay, let's talk about it. Yeah. You have to just do it. If someone is not doing what they are expected to do, yeah, you can find out how to deal with it, but first you will say, guys, do it, what you have committed. That's what we are expecting as an option A. Yes, in general, in practice, we want to have a long-term relationship with the vendor. We probably don't want to do the escalation and forcing things, but we have a deliverable which is defective. So I need to report that defect first, and then I will say, fix this, and then we can talk if you need any assistance from us, or better, you fix your process. That is something I'm hoping when I'm working with the vendor. So option E is still better if we compare with option C. Option D, document this compliance failure as a significant risk in your project risk register. noting the potential of cost escalation. There is a possibility I may end up doing that. Yeah, but that is also possibility. I may not directly jump and say this is going to create a schedule delay and cost delay. There is a possibility I may update the risk if this thing is looking like recurring. But what is the primary issue here? Primary issue here is I have a deliverable which is not meeting compliance. I need to just point out and return that deliverable and says, please, as per my contract, do something about it. So what could have been better than A? Yeah, A is best out of what available. So insisting on provision of replacement with a fully compliant with the document safety standard, I would say it's a possible thing, but it could have been a little more open if we say that I will report the non-compliance and will act as per our contractual agreement. Yeah, so that could have been better option, but since we have these 4 options here, so I will say yes, I will return the non-compliant equipment to the vendor and insist on providing me the compliant deliverables because that is what their contractual obligation was about. So if you look at the tasks, yeah, it is all about task 1, business domain, plan and manage project compliance, task 1. In this case, the compliance is going till the vendor, so there's little cascading of it. The process domain task 7 is also related here because we are focusing on planning and managing quality of our products and deliverables. I need to manage the quality of deliverables which I'm getting from the vendor as well. And it is also related to process task 11, which talks about plan and manage procurement. I would say the major focus of this particular question was plan and manage procurement, but it was putting a flavor of compliance in it. Yeah, so that's the idea. The topic is all about project compliance. The topics we got into is about procurement management, control procurement, or I would say the contract management and taking care of our contractual rights and not letting the vendor doing something which is not as per the contract.